Evening. We welcome you all to the April 6th Troy City Council meeting, and we request that anyone that has electronic devices, cell phones, etc., turn them off at this point, and if you have to make a call, please go out into the hall to do that. This evening, we are very pleased to have with us Brother Middleton from the Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to give our invocation. And then for the pledge, we will have, after the invocation, we are pleased to have the Weeblo Pack 1006 from Our Shepherd Lutheran School, and they are going to assist with the pledge. So we have two special things. So Brother Middleton first, would you please rise? Brother Middleton, can you please go to the microphone, because we do televise and record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our eternal Heavenly Father, this evening at the beginning of this council meeting, we pause in prayer to acknowledge Thy hand in all things. We know we are blessed to live in this community that has been built over the years to provide freedoms for all those who live here, those who wish to worship as their heart dictates, to be able to speak up and to be heard by those who have decision power over the business of this city. We acknowledge Thy hand in these things, and we have blessings that is given to us as citizens of this city. We ask a special blessing upon the mayor and upon the councilwomen and councilmen sitting here tonight. We ask Thy blessings of health, clarity of mind, and wisdom for those decisions that are put before them. We ask Thee to inspire them in matters of compromise, that all of us may benefit from the decisions made here tonight. And these things we humbly pray in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And now if we could have the Weeblo troop come forward, please. So you're all set? Ready? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming, and good luck with your work on your citizenship badge, correct? Thank you. May we have the roll call, Mrs. Bartholomew?
Mayor Schilling?
Here.
Councilman Beltran? Here. Broomfield? Eisenbacher?
Here.
Fleming?
Here.
Howard? Kerwin? Here.
Quorum present. Our next item is excuse me just a minute. It doesn't list that on here, excusing.
It would be appropriate to excuse if that's your desire.
Someone of council wish to make a resolution? Yes, Councilman Eisenbacher.
I'd like to excuse Councilwoman Christina Broomfield and Mayor Pro Tem Martin Howrlack from the meeting because they are out of the county.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Eisenbacher, seconded by Councilman Fleming, that we excuse Councilwoman Broomfield and Mayor Pro Tem Howrlack for being out of the county.
Madam Mayor?
Discussion, the vote, Ms. Councilwoman Beltramini?
Question for the city attorney. It seems to me that since absence from the county is a charter mandated excused absence, that this is a superfluous vote.
Yes, Mrs. Bloom, do you wish to add?
Mayor, it certainly is the preference of this board to decide whether or not they wanted to excuse the members. Certainly it would provide a record in the minutes if that is council's desire.
Councilwoman Kerwin?
I've spoken before about this practice. I don't think it's in the best interest to continue the practice. It is, as a matter of fact, in the charter. For those who are out of the county may be excused, so they may. I will continue to vote no on these absences, excused or not. Whether you're excused or not, you're not here to vote at this meeting. So it's just simply a bad practice that this council has been doing for years and years, and I don't want to participate in it. I'll just vote no.
So what is the pleasure of council? Do you wish to continue the practice of voting to excuse or not? Councilwoman Beltramini?
My next question would be, did Councilwoman Broomfield and Councilman Howrelick provide an excuse to either the chair, the manager, or the official record keeper, being the clerk?
Mr. Zerlak?
It doesn't move. Yes, I was contacted by Christina Broomfield last Thursday indicating she would be on vacation, and today Martin Howrelack called to indicate his job took him out west about 1,400 miles.
Councilwoman Beltramini?
With those practices in place, I agree with Councilwoman Kerwin. This is a poor practice. It is enabled by it is a shall clause in the charter. And therefore, I think this is an unnecessary vote.
Perhaps at this meeting we'll not have a vote and then discuss it as a full council, and then we would make a change in our rules of procedure at another time.
Yeah.
Councilman Eisenbacher?
I believe we have a properly made resolution. It's been seconded. Unless we have a vote to not carry through, we have to. But the item I'd be curious about, a little bit of research possibly from the clerk's office, would be how long has this been the practice, and what sections of Robert's rules would apply in light of our charter for the excuse of members not present.
Mrs. Bartholomew, is your recommendation that we have a vote this evening and then discuss this at a meeting when we have a full council?
Seeing that there is an active motion on the table, you'll either need to take care of this particular motion or postpone this motion or make a motion to remove it. So you will need a vote of some form tonight.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move to remove.
Moved by, could I request that we turn the mics up a little bit? I'm having difficulty hearing each of my colleagues. Moved by Councilwoman Kerwin that we remove this item from the table. And seconded by Councilwoman Beltramini. Discussion? The vote then, Mrs. Bartholomew, on this?
Mayor Schilling?
Yes?
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
No.
Fleming?
No.
Kerwin?
Yes.
Motion passes. Is that, that's all that we need to do at this time. Sorry about that, folks. I know you thought we were going to go right to the Citizens Academy. We have the 13th graduation class. No music this time. Where's our music? And I'll go down to the front for the presentation of the certificates of graduation on behalf of council.
I would like to congratulate the 17 people who took 9 weeks out of their busy schedules to come to City Hall or wherever I told them we were going to learn all about the City of Troy and the workings and meet all the department heads and some staff. So I'm going to turn it over to the manager.
We're mixing it up a little this evening. At the end, I understand that the class has selected a spokesperson to say a few things. So I will do that at that time after the presentation of the certificates. Our first graduate is Christine Adams. And let me read the first one. It says, Troy Citizens Academy Certificate of Graduation. This certificate hereby proclaims that Christine Adams has successfully met all the requirements of the Troy Citizens Academy program as of April 6, 2009. This Troy Citizens Academy graduate now has a knowledge of how the City of Troy government operates and the privilege to share this information with others. Signed by John Zerle, Acting City Manager, and myself as Mayor, and presented to you as a token. And remember, the picture's for you. And Howard Adams. Yes, I thought Howard Adams already knew everything already. Ken Budry. Richard Kuhn, and I have to tell you a story that every single week I have been hearing from Richard 3 days after the class of the wonderful information that he has gained. He's been raving about it. I said, I think you should write an article for the newspaper. Thank you. Congratulations. Chuck Floater. I understand there is a relative here.
Now, they've lived in Troy longer than anyone else in any other class.
53 years, correct?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Wonderful.
And Doreen Floater. And we received the nicest email from this couple, and I think that the spokesperson is going to include some of those comments that you had. Ashley Goter.
Ashley's not here. She had her class.
Not at the game.
No, not at the
Michael Johnson. Congratulations. Toby Karpov, how are you? Yes, I do remember, absolutely. Was that fine? Okay. Terry Craig, how are you? Congratulations. Another one I assume you know everything about.
No.
One more? Oh, that's sorry. Gordon Shepke. Keep dating them.
Okay.
Congratulations. And Kay Shepke. Bill Sliplock?
He's in Arizona, unfortunately.
Okay.
But he made every class.
I think I put this one.
Okay.
Dave Sisko? Cisco. Like the Cisco kid. And this is Tony Gaines Williams. Congratulations. We have to move over because we're getting back to line here. Arlene Wilson. Congratulations. Jeannie Stein. Now, you would expect that Jeannie already knows everything about the city, and she does, but she tells me that she learned even more in this class and was asked by her classmates to say a few words. So congratulations, we're going to do the picture.
It was our department head's challenge to
I'm
find
really thrilled. I
something.
never had a picture.
But it was our challenge to find something Jean didn't know about.
Oh, I did.
I think you want to face your classmates to speak.
I really do. And I want to say, for everyone in this room and the viewing audience, that it was the consensus of the class, the members of the class, that the citizens of Troy get a big bang for their bucks. And said a different way, they receive huge value, a great bargain for their tax dollars. And I would suggest even the members of the sitting city council might consider availing themselves of the opportunity to take the Citizens Academy, to attend those classes. And I say that because after 29 and a half years of sitting up here, they challenged me every week, and every week I have to say I learned something different, something new. It was just wonderful. And my academy classmates, all of you, will tell all of you that there was a thread that wove through the entire experience, and that thread was the remarkable caliber, dedication, expertise, and work ethic of all of those city employees that we met every single Thursday night. It was absolutely wonderful. And I think that we were all equally impressed. And I wanted to take this opportunity to provide thanks to all those people who worked with us dummies all that time. So thank you to the City Council for providing this. And before I take my leave, I want to read a letter that was received by one of our classmates, Chuck Floater and Doreen. And I'm not going to read the entire letter, but our mayor provided me with this, and I want to definitely read the last paragraph. And, oh, by the way, 53 years living in this city, and he really experienced new things. He says, without a doubt, the Citizens Academy is one of the best and most productive ways to educate and inspire good citizenship. Our hope is that the program will continue for many years, giving others opportunity to learn, appreciate, and be motivated, as we all were. So, thank you again. Thank you, Chuck.
So go forth and teach others. Thank you.
And you can all stay.
Each of the 13 classes that have gone through the Citizens Academy have just raved about their experience, and so thank you again. And so I recommend to all of you, if you have the time and the interest to take the class, please do, because it is wonderful. Now tonight we have no carryover items, but we do have a public hearing, and that is the outdoor seating request in excess of 20 seats for Pizza Populous Rio Wraps at 300 John R. And Mr. Mark Steinbeck will present for staff, and then we'll open the public hearing.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. As indicated, this is item C1 on your agenda. It is a public hearing regarding a request for outdoor seating in excess of 20 seats for the restaurant at 300 John R. The property in question is located on the east side of John R., north of 14 Mile. It is in the B2 zoning classification. The property, for those who remember, was originally constructed as of a Highland appliance. It has since, over the years, been renovated and now is a 3-unit multi-tenant retail facility. The northern portion of that building, approximately 1/3 of it, is currently occupied by a Pizza Populous Rio Wraps restaurant. And the petitioners have submitted an application to expand their existing outdoor seating facility. The outdoor seating facility is located along the north side of the building on a paved area. That area currently has been approved through the administration for up to 20 seats. Petitioners have now submitted an application to expand that to a total of 40 seats, and that approval requires special use approval, in this case to be heard by City Council in lieu of the Planning Commission. The plans for that outdoor seating were provided as part of your packet, and once again the outdoor seating is proposed to be located basically where the 20-seat outdoor seating is today, but to be expanded to include a total of 40 seats. That area is accessed through the restaurant by an existing door on the north side of the building. There will also be a emergency gate located at the west side of the building. They are proposing to continue to have the railing system enclosing that area to separate it from the rest of the sidewalk and outdoor area, and have submitted this detail of that railing for your consideration as part of the request. As noted, this is a public hearing on this item. Public hearing notices were sent out to adjacent property owners and occupants. The one and only response that we had to that was received last Friday, and unfortunately was not included in your packet. However, it should be on the table this evening in the late items. And you should have that.
Yes.
I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding this request.
Are there any questions for Mr. Steinbeck before we open the public hearing? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. Is the petitioner present, Tom Stegman?
Actually, Mr. Stegman is not here, but another representative from Pizza Populous is here to represent the item.
All right. Thank you. Would the representative of the business like to come forward? Yes, sir. Please come forward and give us your name.
My name is George Kresick.
Yes.
I'm the controller and also one of the owners at the restaurant.
Yes. And you'll be pleased to know that the item we received from the neighbor is wholeheartedly endorsing your request, which I'm sure you knew, but it's always nice to hear again.
Yes, it is. That's good news.
You're here to answer any questions that council might have on the matter in addition to the information we received in our packet, correct?
Pardon?
You will answer any questions that council may have?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
Thank you. Council, do you have questions on this? We received all the data in the packet. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here.
You're welcome.
Is there
Thank
anyone
you.
else that's here on this item that wishes to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and return it to the council table for a resolution.
Madam Mayor?
There's a tie here. Councilman Eisenbacher?
I'll move the resolution. Resolve that Troy City Council hereby approves the request from Tom Stegman manager of Pizzapopolis Rio Wraps located at 300 John R. for outdoor seating for 40 seats in conjunction with their restaurant for a period not to exceed 2 years in accordance with section 21.30.05 of the zoning ordinance, chapter 39 of the Code of the City of Troy, and be it further resolved that Pizzapopolis Rio Wraps may apply for a 2-year continuance prior to the expiration of this approval.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Eisenbacher, seconded by Councilwoman Beltramini, that we approve the resolution as printed and as read. Discussion of the motion? The vote, Mrs. Bartholomew?
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
Yes.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes. Motion passes. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. There are no postponed items this evening, and so we'll go right to public comment of items that are not on the agenda. And we have Marvin Reinhardt and then James Savage. So Mr. Reinhardt first and then Mr. Savage. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, the mayor and fine class of people here. Hope they do their thing. And like you said, I was surprised to see the ex-mayor. That's probably why the city's in the shape it is now, because she needed to. Because you know we're having a financial hardship in the city, and when people got to be retrained continually to do jobs, that takes away from the city. We're running a $5 million deficit in this city, and all the gaiety in this room teased me off. Because next year when you guys, I don't have the money, you guys been funning around because the last 3 meetings nothing was accomplished towards getting our $5 million debt. We got a retread here. His idea was to contest 16 Mile cause pollution. That's a great idea to bring him back because I'm not Victor, I'm not Red. I'm somebody that the Troy High School system stole my high school trophy. You understand that? So that's my
Mr. Reinhardt, you have to address the chair, please. Thank you.
Also, too, I like to bring forth that when you guys are busting these people selling beer unnecessarily or by mistake, we have a Catholic church in this city, St. Lucy's, that brags they have beer and wine parties there. Now, that's not an example. I called the Catholic diocese and I chewed that guy out because we don't need the Catholic church bringing beer and wine parties into this city. We got enough problems already. And as far as the Arbor Day people giving you guys something, I chewed them out and explained to them that your tree ordinance should be looked at because it doesn't save trees, by the way. And also, the policy of you giving that Chinese company $25,000 tax rebate is also the company that's suing Chrysler for $100 million, which is nothing that the Troy City should be proud of, because when I go on the internet, I remind people of that how this city goes out of its way to make General Motors and Chrysler a problem. Okay, I'm a GM retiree. I don't need problems for General Motors. And the way you guys buy things, it doesn't look like it's General Motors. 2, I think Brian Murphy should be watching himself because that guy there, I understand how he operates the last time he was here in this. He makes demands. If I don't get this, I'm going to quit. And you guys had to get down on your knees to keep Phil Nelson long enough to get this guy out of retirement. Because I got guys in Florida right now finding out why we got him. Because I'm the drudge of Troy, I'm going to find out answers. Also, you guys missing? This is supposed to be the city of the future. All they got to do is set up a monitor there, look into a telephone, and they'd be here. But they don't want to be here because I come once in a while, so they find reasons to leave. And it's going to get worse. I'm telling you, because this city is going towards pollution, is not going towards greenness, and I want this city to be a park. And I tell you, you keep 16 Mile, you keep polluting the rest of the city. Like I say, I go right to your creditors and bondholders and harass them and tell them that you're polluting, not improving the city of Troy. Like I said, Beaumont asked me, am I going to bury their retention center because of pollution? No, I'm working on burying Emerald Lakes because that's polluted, because you can see that from the air. And when I talk to the Canadian government how much pollution's coming from that area, they're concerned. And when North Carolina got an empty water reservoir and we're pumping 12 pumps 24 hours a day, water going down there, the senators down there in North Carolina wants to know why Troy, Michigan can pump all that water away, and that's just the start. Now, I tried to make an appointment with this gentleman. I'm willing to talk more to him at his leisure because I'm 24/7 behind Troy. I don't need no more pollution. I don't need no pecking noses coming into this city. Suck the money out and run, because I'm going to be living in this city. And by the way, I can't sell my property in Troy because of the way it is. Okay? And I told my landlord I'm going to fix it up whether he wants me or not. So don't worry. I can handle the city. And I'll handle where I live. But all I know is that I watch this city 24 hours a day. I don't go to sleep. I got a problem from Vietnam. I don't sleep. So just remember that. And oh, by the way, I made peace with your police department. So you'll keep calling them on me. That's fine. But the Troy Chamber, still on my hit list. You guys have a good day. Any questions?
Mr. Savage, would you like to come forward? We don't seem to have our timer here today, Mrs. Blunt.
Yeah, it's like anything in this city. It doesn't work.
Mr. Savage?
Does that mean I get extra time?
No, I'm watching the clock that way.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I want to make some observations from an item that came up, I think it was 2 weeks ago, regarding the transit centre and the transit systems and how we spend our taxpayer dollars. There is an old saying, the main object of government is spending taxpayer money. I'm sure you've heard that before. Well, after listening to the presentation regarding the transit centre, I think maybe it's true. The speaker talked of getting millions, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars for this project. So I was wondering, does this money grow on trees? Or is it our tax money that he's planning on spending? For years I've heard people, particularly would-be politicians, bad-mouthing big government. Got to get rid of big government. Now we have a project that's been sitting for about 10 years that no one was very interested in, but because we can now go running to big government and grab a few $1 million to spend, it now becomes a must-do project. So how interested is this city in transit issues? Many years ago, and I'm not sure, I lost track whether it's 10, 15 or more years ago, I suggested a safe passage across Rochester Road for the kids between Waddles School and Baker School. Nobody was interested, nobody listened. Well, thank you, Mr. Savage. Also, I talked to our traffic engineer at the time they were going to widen Big Beaver. And I suggested make it a commuter lane, because at that time, Kmart was full of office workers. The Sheffield Centre was full. All those big buildings along Big Beaver were all full of office workers. Thousands of them every day going to work and back. Make that a commuter lane from I-94 right through to the Sheffield Centre. Put a little pressure on the companies to provide buses, which at that time General Motors was providing buses for their employees, stopping in the city of Troy to pick up and going down to the event centre. So it was working for General Motors, but nobody was interested. And then there was the I-75 corridor. I think it was a $2 million study. And I was at a meeting right here when Mr. Corradino chaired that meeting or officiated at that meeting. And it was full of people. And everybody, people from all over the area, city representatives from the area, and just about everybody said, no, we do not want I-75 widening. Put in a mass transit system, put in commuter lanes. The idea of just laying cement never works. It just produces more traffic. Well, Mr. Corradino was the only one on his side because everybody was against it, but he didn't listen. And I think it was, how many years later? 5 years later, and $2 million, the idea was scrapped. Then we've got the smart bus system. Have you ever parked on the east side of Pennis when the buses pull up, big 40-seater buses, whatever they are? I don't know how much they cost, probably $300,000. Nobody gets on, nobody gets off, bus pulls away, another bus pulls up, maybe 2 people get on. You stop at the traffic lights, you look at this bus, there's nobody on, just a driver. And this isn't just in Detroit. It's the same right down in Detroit. Woodward and Adams, even now, on midday, 3-4 people on the buses, big 40-seater buses. The city I know of, years ago, had a similar situation where the big old buses were not doing the job and they were running into a lot of deficits, so they privatized it. And they had private companies put on little mini buses.
Okay, Mr. Savage, can you wrap up, please?
Oh boy, I'd like to.
It was beeping over there.
I got a long way to go.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try to wrap it up. Okay, our free enterprise system is based on demand and supply. And all I see is huge amounts of taxpayer-financed supply and very little demand. I believe a train station in the proposed location will be an asset to the area, and particularly to the retail and residential complex right there. The rail line and service is already there. The city has access to the property. The Birmingham station is long gone, so it would seem ridiculous not to have a station there. But do we need to build an ivory castle or another white elephant? Demand says that maybe a whistle-stop platform would be justified, but there is no indication that will ever be demand for this pie-in-the-sky multi-million-dollar facility. The fact that there may be government funding available is not good enough reason to put our grandchildren deeper in debt for more failed government policies. And how can we, an affluent community, even think of grabbing stimulus dollars when people in places such as Fargo, North Dakota, and Elkhart, Indiana, have had their lives shattered financially, materially, and emotionally through no fault of their own? These are the people that need the help. These are the people that need the government money. And if the events of the last year has not taught us to live within our means, then there is not much hope for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? Then we'll continue on with regular business. We do not have any requested, so we'll go in the order that they are on the agenda. First of all, their appointments to boards and committees, the city council appointments. Would someone like to move the resolution with those names that were brought forward last week?
Mayor.
Councilman Eisenbacher?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Eisenbacher, seconded by Councilwoman Beltramini, that we appoint the following committee to persons to, or reappoint them to committees, boards and committees. Betty Coven to the Advisory Committee for Senior Citizens, Charter Revision Committee, Mary Ann Bernardi, Daniel Bliss, and William Weisgerber. Ethic Issues Advisory Board, Sharon McDowell. Historic District Commission, Paul Lynn. Discussion? The vote, Mrs. Bartholomew?
Councilmember Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
Yes.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes.
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Motion passes. E2 is nominations for boards and committees, and we do have a yellow sheet in front of us with several names of people that wish to be reappointed.
Madam Mayor,
Councilwoman Kerwin?
I'll move Joanne Thompson for Park and Rec Board.
Senior citizens.
Any others?
Mayor.
Councilman Eisenbacher.
Move Glenn Clark for Board of Zoning Appeals.
Both of these are reappointments.
Yes.
Any others?
Oh, there's one in a Personnel Board. Albert Nelson.
Pardon?
Albert Nelson.
Albert Nelson to the Personnel Board. Okay, thank you. Do we have a second on those?
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Kerwin and Councilman Eisenbacher that we, how do we do that, Mrs. Bartholomew, when we have two people bringing names forward?
Actually, I reported them as submitting names, and so if we could have one or another member of council make the motion and
Okay, so we'll have Councilwoman Kerwin, no? Okay. Councilman Eisenbacher, you want to make the motion, and then seconded by Councilman Fleming. Discussion of those? This is to bring them forward, and then we'll be voting on them at the next council meeting. The vote, Mrs. Bartholomew?
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
Yes.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes.
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Motion passes. E3 is a contract with Green Star and Associates, LLC for the right-of-way acquisition services.
Madam Mayor,
Councilwoman Kerwin?
I'm going to move the resolution. Whereas Green Star and Associates, LLC has been providing right-of-way services to the city for the past 3 years on federally funded major road projects. Whereas Green Star and Associates, LLC has been approved by City Council and the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT, for right-of-way services on John R., Long Lake to Square Lake, John R., Square Lake to South Boulevard, Waddles Road, 1,000 feet east and west of Rochester, Rochester Road, Torpy to Barkley, and Rochester Road, Barkley to Trinway. And whereas Green Star and Associates, LLC has agreed to the same terms and conditions as the original settle agreement, as amended, with no increase to the hourly rate of $78.64 per hour for the first year. Therefore, be it resolved that Troy City Council hereby approves the agreement between the City of Troy and Green Star and Associates, LLC to provide right-of-way services for a period of 2 years with an option to renew for 1 additional year, and hereby authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement documents, a copy of which shall be attached to the original minutes of this meeting. And be it further resolved that the contract is contingent upon contractor submission of properly executed documents, including insurance certificates and any other specified requirements.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Councilwoman Beltramini, that we approve the resolution as printed and read. Discussion? The vote, Mrs. Bartholomew?
Councilmember Kerwin?
Yes.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes.
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Motion passes. E4 is scheduling a special meeting with the executive search firm.
Mayor,
Councilman Eisenbacher?
I move the resolution as printed. If you want to read it.
So we have a
Okay.
second?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Eisenbacher, seconded by Councilman Fleming. Discussion?
No, Mayor.
Councilwoman Kerwin?
You know, I have still harbor serious objections to going with an executive search firm. I think that earlier we heard during public comment, let's keep an eye on the dollars. Let's watch the monies. It's not a time to be spending. Yet I think that this whole approach has been spending lots and lots and lots of money. Now, we talked about recently that we were on a time crunch, 120 days. So we received a call last week, when can we meet? Mr. Charles Blockett wanted to meet right away so he could start on this active search. And yet we have trouble coming up with a date that we can all meet. Well, for heaven's sakes, look at our regular meetings. Tonight's meeting, for example. It's a regularly scheduled meeting. We've had this date for months and months and months. I, too, work on a contractual basis. I am a salary employee. I block out the dates that we have scheduled meetings for, and I don't take job opportunities during that time. A week ago, Councilmember Beltramini said, we need to move forward with whomever comes to the table. The people who are in the room are the ones that are going to need to make this decision.
Further discussion on this item? Councilman Eismacher?
I just wanted to publicly thank, I'm forgetting her last name, Mary Redden from the clerk's office for taking the time to contact, manager's office. Being at home with sick kids today is
It's harder than
skewing
being
my
at
thought
work.
process. Yes.
It's harder than being at work. See, he's admitting that to everybody.
Yes. But she did take the time, and it's my understanding that all of us can attend this meeting that is proposed on Thursday evening. So it hopefully will be very productive, and we're able to come together as a team and move forward with this process.
My comments on the item are as follows. Even though I indicated that I can be there on the 16th and will attend, I'll be voting no on this item simply because I, too, like Councilwoman Kerwin, feel that we should not be spending the money on a search firm at this time. I've expressed my confidence in employees that we have, felt that we should be promoting from within, and I have been through the search process several times, felt that it was unnecessary this time, but a majority of council has decided that we should pursue a search firm. So, but I'll be voting no on this item as a protest. Further comments? Mrs. Bartholomew?
Mayor Schilling?
No.
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
No.
Motion passes. E5 is appointment of Gary Mayer to Chief of Police, and I'd like to move the resolution.
Support.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin, and I want to read this one. Whereas the Act 78 Board met on March 30th, 2009 and certified the eligibility of Acting Police Chief Gary Mayer for Police Chief, therefore be it resolved that the Troy City Council hereby confirms the Acting City Manager's appointment of Gary Mayer as Police Chief. Discussion? I'd like to add a comment that I am certain that just as Gary Mayer has served us well over the years here in the department, and then as Deputy Chief and as Acting Police Chief, and now as Chief of the Police, that he will continue to be a leader in our exemplary police department here with the City of Troy. I have no doubt that he will serve with distinction and that he will make us all very proud. Others? Mr. Zerline, did I see you motioning to say something? No? You were just scooting up?
No, I can always say something about Chief
Yes.
Mayer, although I've been here now for about 4 days. I've known Gary for decades, and he exemplifies what we call a professional law enforcement officer as well as a senior management employee. And I'm very happy that you have confirmed the appointment. And also want to indicate that we are going to be having an award ceremony sometime possibly next week. And you'll all be invited to that.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Councilman Beltramini?
I'd just like to say if this is the quality of John Zerlike's decision-making from here forward, I'm okay with that.
We're holding you to a pretty high standard there, John. Mrs. Bartholomew, the vote?
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
Gladly.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes, with pleasure. Congratulations. Would you like to say something?
Mayor, members of council, I'd like to thank you for this. It's something I've aspired to for many years, and I look forward to working for the City of Troy, continue to work with the City of Troy for the finest police department in the state. We've got many, many qualified men and women that want to work hard to keep us in the good stand that we have in the community. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next, we have our consent agenda, and we didn't have the any items requested by members of the audience. Do council members have any items in the consent agenda they want removed? Seeing none, could we have a resolution then to approve all the consent items?
Madam Mayor?
Councilwoman Beltramini?
I would move that all items on the consent agenda are approved as written.
Support.
Moved by Councilwoman Beltramini, seconded by Councilman Eisenbacher, that we approve all the consent items at this time. Discussion? Yes, Mrs. Bartholomew, that includes with corrections on the minutes? Read your mind. The vote, please.
Councilmember Eisenbacher?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Kerwin?
Yes.
Mayor Schilling?
Yes.
Councilmember Beltramini?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we move to council referrals, council comments. This ties in with the E item that we just did, my comments, in that the police department did a wonderful job on Friday when the pep rally was held at Somerset, and we had 7,000 people attend. Their presence was there. They were just doing a wonderful job keeping everybody organized and safe. I heard many, many comments from people that are residents of the city, but also from people who came from other communities for it, and from people at the Somerset Collection about what a wonderful job our police department did. And then as folks left, they directed traffic. Everything worked well. And they also coordinated with the Michigan State Police, who were the safety experts for the team, because the whole team came over with Tom Izzo from the Somerset Inn. And it was an exciting, exhilarating moment. I've never seen that many people at Somerset, even at Christmas time. And everyone, it was just the perfect venue for that kind of activity, because people could see, they could hear, they could have the excitement of, so we're wishing everyone well, of course, this evening with the game. And, but again, I want to commend our police department when we have these special activities and they are called to do enforcement activities in the area and safety for people. People really do appreciate it, because it gives them the sense that we really are, as we know, the safest city in Michigan. And people feel very comfortable in coming here for many activities. So thank you. Other council comments, items? Councilman Kerwin?
The only thing they didn't do was change to green. I noticed they kept on their preferred color. But we did have Spartan fever around here. I do want to also thank, I know that when we had Mr. Murphy here, he talked about the wonderful establishments that have done so much to promote this fever that we have, that we want to hurry home to watch that special game. But certainly the Somerset Collection for feeding all of us who came out. I know that the team and Coach Izzo seemed so touched to experience that moment, as you did, Mayor Schilling, and the many officers that we had there. Also, Troy School District for stepping up. We had Kalamata. We had a lot of local retailers who also promoted it. So it was really a great spirit, a great time, joy. And I hope that we can keep that going forward. I had an opportunity to attend an MML regional awards this week, where communities shared some wonderful ideas with us. I brought 2 sheets for you. One is about the one that won, is this simple sheet, which is called Lathrop Village Time Bank. And we had, when we did the futures, when we did visions, many people thought, gee, there should be a way for the retired baby boomers and some of our senior population to become more involved and give back. We could never really put a handle on how to do that. Well, Lathrop Village thought about that. but didn't limit it to those of a certain age. They said, you know what? Any age should be able to give back or have an opportunity to give in a community. And they developed this time bank where literally from elementary school and all the way up to those who are 100 years old or so had something that they could do that they could share. And what they do, they developed a time bank program where someone invests time. And it could be, I have the ability to sew on buttons. So sure enough, a senior would sew on buttons or do some mending, and there would be a handyman who also had a service that he could do. So he'd bring over the mending to someone in need. The senior citizen would then sew the clothes. The toilet would get fixed. Gutters would get done. We have very young people, David, your kids' ages, who are out walking dogs. It was a service that they could provide, and then they were then given back. So they didn't just take that narrow approach that we had been looking at, retirees, but everyone of all ages simply giving so many hours that then they could use or barter once they had invested. So this program is something that I think merits looking into. So I've given a copy to our manager. And John, I would hope you'd go ahead and contact if you have any questions. Also brought this back, which is wonderful. The City of Wayne has a playground for all, and they used a lot of different funding sources to make this happen. But it is completely accessible. They made it a project. And so I'll bring this back, and I have a copy also for Carol Anderson, Director of Parks and Recs. Those were just two of wonderful community events. It was a very, very worthwhile afternoon.
Okay. Councilman Beltramini?
It was an MML function. I was there. And I think that the programs there were 5 entries. And I said at the meeting that this was a great opportunity for communities to share with each other their visions and what they could do for their communities, because these two spoke to citizens directly. Sterling Heights had a vision of what would happen to their tax base with the manufacturing going south, and prepared a huge program on how to diversify the R&D that they already had in their town and to reuse those manufacturing facilities. And I have that information, but we only had one copy. We took the table copy is what we did. So those kinds of meetings are important for us to share. It's interesting, the Chamber had a fundraising component of their nonprofit network meeting not too long ago, and one of the things was, in this time of a down economy, people will contribute what they have. And I think that the Lathrop Village program speaks to that. If I am a shut-in but need repairs to my home, or my grass cut, or my dog walked, I can do mending. If I am a child who has a skill to help somebody with a computer, I can go do that. And the thing about the Lathrop Village program that was so enlightening was that everybody's hour was worth the same. The 9-year-old's hour was worth the same as the professional who does this for a living. So everyone had the same value. The Wayne project was done not only through grant funding, but totally as a citizen build. So I would like our attorney to contact Wayne and find out what liability issues they faced, because anybody who's been watching this knows that I believe in hands-on stuff for citizens to do. And I think that's a good way for us to follow. I would like to thank the memo that was on the table about the pothole filling. I appreciate that, because I mentioned that last week, and I appreciate the update, and I'm glad to see that we are continuing to pursue that. Regions 2 through 7 of the MML will be meeting for the next 2 months, and I will bring back whatever I learned that might be helpful for us. And at some point, I'll get with you, Mr. Zerlag, and I will make an official visit to the city of Troy. I make them all over the state, so I probably should do one here too. So it's good. Yeah.
And that's a good segue. I was going to say, on behalf of the City Council and the staff of the City of Troy, we'd like to welcome John Zerle, his hometown here, and it's nice to have you at the table and providing service to the community. We do welcome you.
Thank you very much. It feels a little, I don't want to use the word strange, but I've been coming here to this building for a number of years. Started out when I was 22 years old as an intern to Frank Gerstenecker. Left for about 7 or 8 years, came back as an assistant manager for 10 years, city manager for 7. Took 3 years away and have about 117 more days to go. And want to thank you for the opportunity. I essentially know all the staff, including the new librarian who was here since the 1990s, and was happy to see that all the staff members that I had worked with in the past still practice a very high and set the bar for a culture of professionalism, including the attorney's office, and we have the best residents anywhere.
And we've all been providing you with extra reading matter to catch up on the things from the 3 years. And I'm especially pleased. I hope that citizens will pick up the community guide that we mentioned. I think it was Councilman Kerwin mentioned it last week. There just is a wealth of information and knowledge in there that good for everyone. So thank you. Are there any other council items? Then we stand in adjournment at 8:31. Enjoy the game, folks.